Okay, so we've been studying the preterite and the imperfect tenses in Spanish. What's the difference between the two? First of all, what do they look like? Well, the imperfect is quite distinctive because the AR verbs have an aba or an abamos or an aban in them, and the ER and the IR are the same, and they have ia, comia, ian in there. The preterite is also distinctive in that, for example, you see with the AR verbs for the third person plural aron endings. And with the ER and IR ones, you will see ieron endings. Okay? It's basically the case of learning the verb endings like for any other tense. The preterite in particular is quite difficult because, as we know, it has lots and lots of irregulars. The difficulty with these two tenses, once we've learnt how to form them, really is when to use them, and particularly when we are needing to use both of them in a paragraph that we are writing. So, first of all, thinking about the preterite. The preterite is used for finished or completed actions in the past. Ayer fui al colegio. Yesterday I went to school. La semana pasada jugué al voleibol. Last week I played volleyball. El año pasado fuimos de vacaciones a España. Last year we went to Spain. You will notice that in each of those examples a time expression was used. Ayer, la semana pasada, el año pasado. Okay? The imperfect, on the other hand, is used for different uses in the past. So, for example, a repeated action in the past. Cuando era pequeño, llevaba un uniforme. When I was younger, I wore a uniform. It's a repeated action because it's something that you did over and over again in the past. You will notice in that example as well, there was no definite time frame mentioned. So, en el pasado, iba a España todos los años. In the past, I went to Spain every year. Again, in the past is not a definite time frame, it's just telling us that it's in the past as opposed to the present or the future. The imperfect is also used to set the scene. So for background information, for things like weather, hacía calor, llovía mucho, and maybe for giving other information such as there were lots of people, había mucha gente. And also you will find it's often used for opinions in the past as well, so era muy interesante. The other time when you will see both these tenses working together is when you have got an ongoing action taking place in the imperfect, which is then interrupted by something in the preterite. So for example, desayunaba, imperfect tense, cuando mi amiga llamó a la puerta. When my friend rang on the door. So I was having breakfast, your imperfect ongoing action, when my friend rang or called, preterite, on the door. As well as using the imperfect, there is also the imperfect continuous, and as we know, the continuous tenses use the verb estar in a variety of tenses, plus the gerund. So in that last example, I could have also said, estaba desayunando cuando mi amiga llamó a la puerta. And the meaning is exactly the same. Another example of this idea of an ongoing action that's interrupted might be something like, hacía mis deberes cuando mi amigo me llamó por teléfono. Or estaba haciendo, if we want to use the imperfect continuous tense, estaba haciendo mis deberes cuando mi amiga me llamó por teléfono. So I was doing my homework, imperfect tense or imperfect continuous tense, when my friend rang me on the phone. Okay, I hope this gives you a little bit of revision of the difference between the preterite and the imperfect.